Hey guys, this is Shreyas and welcome back to another video. So if you remember, not so long back I made the full camera review of the Pixel 4a, and not just that, I did a complete review of the Pixel 4a as well, but I felt that the camera required special attention, so I made a separate video for it. But unfortunately, not long after my video was almost done and went live, the Google Camera 8.1 update came in for this particular phone. Now it was a bit interesting because there were small tweaks in the camera UI and a feature here and there which kind of changes the experience. And by the way, that is the same camera UI and the features you see that shipped with the Pixel 5 and the 4a 5G that never made it down to India. I will be covering the fundamentals and the changes that happens in the Google Camera 8.1 update, and if there is anything noticeable you see about the camera performance of this phone. Anyway, before we move on, drop a like, hit subscribe, and I hope you share it with your friends if you like my videos as well. So with that, this is Shreyas and let's check that out. Alright, so if you check out the Google Camera UI in my Pixel 4a camera review, you will notice that the UI has changed a bit. You can see the shutter button looks a bit different, but rest of it is mostly the same. So yeah, if you're aware that Google Photos just announced that from June 2021, it's not gonna give any more unlimited Google Photos backup for high quality. It will only happen in the express quality from now on. And with that, I believe this particular option came down in the Google Camera settings. You can see a device storage option where it gives a overview of the storage of the device and gives you options to free up space from there itself. The major changes you will see is in the video mode. Now, if you went to the More tab, before you could see slow-mo, time-lapse, etc. Now in the More tab, you only have Panorama, Photosphere and Google Lens. So once you get into the video mode, you can see three options just above the shutter button, which is the slow-mo, normal and time-lapse. And in normal mode, you just have another added feature over here which was there in the Pixel 5, which I really liked, that is cinematic pan. Now what this basically does is increase the frame rate and slows it down. So when you do a panning motion horizontally or vertically, it will give you a smooth panning motion. Here are a few samples for that and you can see the difference. Apart from that, the other stabilization option is enabled by default, which is called standard. This is the basic OIS cum AIS you use during video stabilization, and the rest remains the same. Now coming to the pictures, I don't really see a huge difference in the pictures. Honestly, experience kind of remains the same. Few things that I noticed is when you have warm light around and you take low light shots in the regular camera mode, that is closer to the real white balance you get. But when you switch to night sight, it again somehow makes the whole picture cooler than it is. A quick slider in the white balance can fix the whole thing because I have no complaints in terms of dynamic range, sharpness or color reproduction in the particular white balance. Now that is very important. Now this is something that I hoped was going to be fixed with the 8.1 update but didn't. It's not a deal breaker because the rest of the aspects of the photos like dynamic range, sharpness, colors in the particular white balance, if you fix it, are as good as it gets. If you guys are wondering where I got this particular skin from, so Rig Gear was one of the few companies where I actually found a skin and a case for my Pixel 4a, since this is kind of a niche product in India. And I mentioned about the matte texture at the back of the Pixel 4a getting a bit rubbed off and getting a few scuffs because it's a plastic back in my Pixel 4a review, and you can go forward and get yours as well. I'll mention it down in the link below. So that's been it for the Google Camera 8.1 update for the Pixel 4a. Please go back and watch my Pixel 4a camera review as well if you want to know more about it. I will link it down below and in the cards above. So that's been it. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you in my next video.